Hi there from Reykjavik. We are here in the lovely Elliðaárdalur in the center of Reykjavik, basically, today. And here we have this lovely river flowing through the valley, Elliðaárdalur, and you can fish salmon here, and this is the only capital in the world that you can fish salmon in the middle of the city. And I'm simply gonna walk with you today for some spell. Don't know how long you'll stay with me. I'm gonna try to jog a little bit later on. So yeah, I guess depends how long you'll be able to enjoy this beautiful area with me. This is a very popular place for like taking a walk or jogs. There's a running course here that circumvents the valley. Hi Manuel and Heather and Shannon. It's so good to be able to breathe in some fresh air and just breathe. Yes, Shing, it's spring in Iceland. May is kind of spring, September is kind of fall, June, July, August, summer, and the rest is winter. That's the basic thing. But it's only 5 degrees Celsius, like 42 Fahrenheit, so it's not very warm, but fortunately there's no cloud in the sky, so the sun can warm me up, and there's not much wind. That's a key factor in Iceland, like I've told you repeatedly. The wind chill factor is so when there's no wind, then it's good weather in Iceland. And we are in Elliðaárdalur Valley, Elliðaárdalur, and you can Google it on Google Maps, maybe. And hi Valdina, hi Kathy, hi Jenny. I know there are some people that are still quarantined and stuff, so maybe by just enjoying a little bit of this, they get a little bit of a forget the daily indoor life. I hope you hear the sound of the waterfall. Can you imagine? There is more lava flow from the new eruption than this, and Elliðaárdalur is basically two rivers and there's more lava flow from the volcano than in both these rivers. This is a kind of a hidden gem. Not a lot of people, you know, they go in bus rides to 2-hour drives to see a waterfall, and here you have a waterfall that's just like 10 minutes from your hotel. Cherry. The water is flowing from a lake called Elliðaárdalur. But there are a couple of springs that flow into that lake. This is part of the water reserve of Reykjavik. So yes, it's beginning to feel like spring. Really not fall spring, not like there's gonna be snow just next day, and so you're just hoping. It's beginning to feel like spring is finally here, and there's not gonna be a blizzard the next day. This is in Reykjavik, Kim. This is in the center of Reykjavik. So this is not far away from Reykjavik. This is in the center of Reykjavik. This is a beautiful valley called Elliðaárdalur. And the old city museum called Elliðaárdalur is just at the end of these rivers here, up this valley. The open air museum that I did a Christmas walking tour around the 18th of December. As you see here, you see the houses here in the distance. This is Copa Road over there, and maybe you see it here through the trees that you can see Reykjavik. So we're actually just in the middle of Reykjavik. So there's been a little bit of a development at the volcano. As you may be seen pictures of the lava geyser that's now started to erupt. So scientists believe that there are some changes in the lava chamber beneath the volcano, or the volcanoes or craters, and that causes these eruptions, similar like yeah, geysers. I lost track of my thought here. So this is the other flow. Can you imagine? The lava flow is more than the water flow of these two rivers. See Reykjavik down there, or parts of Reykjavik. We are actually in the middle of Reykjavik, so we are just as I said earlier, there are fish that come up these rivers, so people are fishing here, salmon and more, and trout in the middle of the capital of Reykjavik, of Iceland. And yes, you can drink the water, yes, for sure. You can drink all the water in Iceland. It's pure. So never buy water in Iceland. Just bring a water bottle and just fill it up at the next creek. Best water in the world. Some say it's 500 years old. 500 years old water. So it's basically the water from the glaciers, which with the natural filtration system of the loose volcanic rock or bedrock that Iceland has, and it filters through the bedrock and then it flows through the rivers. But it's very clean, and people are. And one of the things that people say about the water flow of water in Iceland is it's so clean. It's perfect for like distilleries and brewing certain beers. They actually have to add minerals to water when they're brewing Icelandic beers, because it's so clear and clean that they add minerals for if they're brewing like ales and stuff like that. But for like lagers, it's perfect. Good morning, Alexa. So yeah, But the eruption doesn't show, there are no signs that it's going to stop anytime soon. It's a very steady flow. It's running from 5 cubic meters to 7.5 or 8 cubic meters per second. So the lava flow is very, very, steady. It doesn't, usually in Iceland, like I've explained earlier, that usually the eruptions are bigger in the beginning and then they slowly fade out. But this eruption could go on for months and maybe even years. Morning, Elaine. Sherry, no, we are not at all concerned about the new volcano developments. This is just more of a spectacle. As I said, there's no change in the lava is not flowing a lot stronger, and this is in a remote area, so we are very relaxed about the thing, just enjoying the show. Hi Marcy, I'm glad to be able to help you to get out of your lockdown. That's one of the reasons why I'm doing this. Keep on doing it, because I've received so many messages from people that are just they feel like they go outside with me for a spell. Yeah, unfortunately, Jim, here in Iceland, all animals need to do a long quarantine before they are allowed to go into Iceland, because we are trying to make sure that there are no diseases brought into the country. So when a horse leaves Iceland, or sheep or anything, they are basically not allowed to come back. And all dogs and cats and stuff, they need to have a quarantine of several weeks on an island called Hrísey to the north, before they are safely considered to go where they want to go, or where they're supposed to go. Enjoying a nice picnic over there. Birds singing. And as I said, as long as the sun gets on, there's no cloud covering the sun, it's pretty, it's chilly, but it's great. It's only 5 degrees Celsius, like I said earlier, 42 Fahrenheit, so it's not very warm, but when you have no wind, that's the key. Hi Jenny, the temperature is about 5 degrees Celsius, 42 Fahrenheit today in Reykjavik. So we did a little bit of a circle here now. Now we're going to take the path up to the Hi George, no, this is not near Perlan. This is at Elliðaárdalur. Elliðaárdalur. So this is so you can see Kópavogur over there. It's very hard to describe, but this is in the dead center of Reykjavik if you basically look at it at the map. So this is like a valley that's here in the. Here we have a district called Árbær. Here we have a district called Breiðholt. Some say like the ghetto of Reykjavik, but that's not true. And yeah, these two rivers are flowing here from the lake called Elliðavatn. And like I said, fish stream here up. So now they have started to fish, and yeah, a lot of birds here in the valley. Yes, Laura, it's for sure it's a gem, and people have been trying to protect it because, of course, people want to develop all kinds of things. There have been talks about making a greenhouse somewhere here to the right hand side of me, like a huge greenhouse with a light pollution effect that could cause. But I think we could choose a not better place for that. Sad to hear about Japan. I heard, yeah, there are talks about canceling the Olympics there because of COVID increase, the increase of cases there. But I think, yeah, I think they need to be able to do it very securely if they're gonna have the Olympics going on in the middle of this pandemic. Here we are at the waterfall that I showed you earlier. And yes, this is a very, nice walk because it's not too steep, like Joanne is talking about. It's just a lovely path around the valley. People like to jog here, bike here, and walk here. A lot of groups come together and walk this path and have a chat. So now we're just easing up our sanctions or COVID restrictions. Now, like gyms and swimming pools and such can go up to 75% capacity, and bars and restaurants can be open about 1 hour later, so I think it's 10 p.m. and everybody out before 11. And so here you see the two rivers pretty clearly. How long is the path? Asks Marla. Well, The whole ring, I would say, is probably around 15. It's not, you know, there's a 10-meter course, 10 kilometer running course here through the valley. And it doesn't go the whole ring because this is a very long and narrow valley. So the other path is just, you know, across the rivers. Hi Liz, and congratulations about booking to Iceland. Finally, people are starting to book. I'm just so happy that finally there's a little bit of a, well, there's some work for Your Friend in Reykjavik. And yes, Joanne, there are benches here and you can relax in between stops, take pit stops. Today there are about 50% of people that have either had the first injection or are immune have antibiotics after having a COVID infection like me. And I think it's about 18% that are fully vaccinated in Iceland. 29% that have had one jab. And I saw some research that showed that maybe one jab is sufficient enough to will basically give you an 86% protection. So we are hoping that maybe we'll be fully like what the people are talking about, the herd immunity for the Icelandic population it's going to happen in July, hopefully. You're welcome, Irish monk. Glad for you to join me. Lori, congratulations to you and Kathy. So do you see the whites on the stones here? This was all under glacier like 10,000 years ago. Oh, Patricia, two of my favorite shows. Game of Thrones and Vikings. Oh, should we? Yeah, let's cross here. Congratulations, Elaine, by getting your second Pfizer jab. And Lynn, one of my guides, Bardi, just had the Janssen vaccine and he was sick for 3 days, but now fortunately he is able to welcome travelers again without and yeah, all of my guides are looking forward to guiding again. It's been such a long time, basically since it's been year and 4 months, or you know, it basically stopped at 15th of March, but it was fading out before that. Yeah, I got COVID in beginning of November, and I thought that I didn't have any. It didn't affect me, but I feel it a little bit in my lungs. Like there's a little bit of a. Yeah, I need to work more on my. I need to run more, and of course, when I started running, I injured my foot, so that was a bit disappointing. But yeah, just that's life. That's life. Yeah, I understand your feeling. I'm doing just that, Irish monk. Breathing it in. Breathing in the oxygen. Congratulations, Isla. Is it Isla or Isla? Is it Isla, right? Here people have been debating. There's like a lagoon here for several years. You can see the dryness of the water bank here all the way. But now the utility company Reykjavik Energy decided to stop. They basically slowed down the flow of the water here, but they decided to stop that, and now it just flows directly through this. This is basically a dam. This is one of the first, or this is the first dam actually that was built here in Reykjavik around 1923 for electricity. Like it's here in this Elliðaárdalur. Maybe I'll show it to you later. Gaelic name, perfect. So here you see a district called Árbær, or the river town or river district, and here up there, that's Breiðholt district. And there you can see the old houses there across the road. That's part of the open air museum called Árbær, which I did Christmas live stream about. Maybe you could check that out on YouTube or Facebook. Christmas was launched, I think, around 18th or 20th of. It was a fun walk. Maybe I'll have to do that again in the summertime. Sherry, too cold for swimming? No, but you won't stay there for long. I'm actually going to dive in Silfra on Saturday. I hope I don't get a heart attack based on the cold. But yeah, this is pretty cold, Sherry. I would not. Children are jumping into the water and such on a sunny day here, but it's not something that you would stay in for very long. I would say maybe 5 degrees Celsius. Yeah, something like 4 degrees Celsius maybe. There's a lovely swimming pool here called Thank you, Tokolosh. I hope you make it to Reykjavik. So there's a lovely swimming pool called Elliðaárdalur, the swimming pool of Árbær. And It's over there, and I recommend, of course, if you have time, to check out all the swimming pools in Iceland if you have the chance. So I'm gonna have a talk with the caretaker of Snorrastofa in Reykholt. Snorrastofa is based on the most influential person in Iceland ever, called Snorri Sturluson, the writer of the Poetic Eddas and the Heimskringla, which is tells the story of the Norwegian kings and more. And it's going to be happening at 3 p.m. today, like in about 3 hours. So we're going to talk about Snorri and his work and how influential he really is. I think UNESCO, that deemed him one of the most top 100 most influential people of all time. He's of course the reason why we have Norse mythology. All the stories, well, most of the stories of Norse mythology come from him. Odin, Thor, the Loki, and all these guys, all based on his work. He put the oral tradition of and put it into writing on Calf Vellum. Hi Judy, Keflavik is in a little bit of a rough place now. There's a lot of unemployment because of COVID. A lot of people that work in Keflavik are based around the airport, Keflavik Airport, and believe it or not, about 25% of the population in Keflavik today is immigrants. So a lot of people like Polish and more are working there around the airport industry, and unfortunately that of course has been on a pretty low since COVID started. So yeah. Hi Elaine. Say hello to the grandkids. Yes, Jim, it's a perfect place to actually have a bicycle and bike around. Reykjavik especially. I would not particularly recommend bicycling around on the countryside. It's only for the most brave of, because there are not great bike paths along the ring road, and it's a little bit of a treacherous thing to just biking along the ring road with people looking everywhere like travelers or stuff, and they are not minding the road sometimes. So yeah, say no more. Yes, Patricia, it's going to be available. We record everything, so it's all going to be available on Facebook, under Facebook videos on the Your Friend in Reykjavik, and then YouTube. So yeah, you can just check it out later. And good luck with the audition. Well, Irish Monk, you were saying about the €50 return from Ireland to Iceland, but now there's a new airliner called Play, Icelandic airliner. So, and there are a lot of airliners interested in flying to Iceland now. So, I think maybe it will take a little bit of time, maybe a year, 2. But like Delta is starting daily flights, I believe. to Iceland soon. I think they're beginning in July from what was it, Chicago, and they're more so. And I just saw news that they're going to be. Yeah, there are a lot of airliners interested in flying to Iceland. So I would suggest that just you have to wait a little bit for cheaper air tickets, but it will happen, I'm sure. So I think we'll go back into the forest. I like to be among the trees. They give me energy. I'm sorry that we will probably not be able to do the panorama glass lodge tomorrow because Hilda is sick. He's having some antibiotics and stuff, and yeah, I think we won't do the live stream tomorrow I know we won't do that. It will happen later. But then on Saturday I'm gonna dive Silvra, diving between the two tectonic plates in Þingvellir. That's gonna be interesting. Yes, we're gonna have a live chat about Snorri in 3 hours. So yeah, if you're interested in Snorri Sturluson, then maybe check that out. It's gonna be live on YouTube and Facebook. We're talking about the caretaker of Snorri Stofa, the house of Mr. Snorri at Reykholt, where he used to live and do most of his writing. And as said earlier about the calf vellum, you needed to be a wealthy person to be able to write back in the day, or be able to write, or let people write for you. Because, as I said, you needed a whole calf skin to write one page. That was basically one page. So yeah, you needed a lot of calf skins because some of these books are quite big. And so yeah, Snorri was a wealthy chieftain, a very important player in Icelandic politics. And a very interesting character. So they're developing here a museum here a little bit further along this path, which I'm interested to see. So it's revolved around the hydro plant that was built here in 1923. So they are going to have a little bit of a science about electricity and just the utility system of Reykjavik, and there's going to be some fun for the children here, obviously. And so yeah, they are developing it to make it a little bit more a visitable place, which is good. Hopefully going to be open like maybe next year. This is a lovely little spot, Kjartanslundur, or the Grove of Kjartan. So this is to honor an employee of the utility company Reykjavik Energy, because he was so working hard for growing trees here in this valley and tending to this beautiful little spot that we have here. We don't have a lot of wild animals in Elliðaárdalur. I've once seen a fox. I've once seen a minke, yeah, a mink, and but there are some rabbits here, some mice. There are geese on X very near him in the forest. It's probably somewhere here. Interesting. Maybe we can take a look without disturbing the geese. Of course, this is a this is a nesting ground for many birds. Just so there's of course birch. That's the native tree of Iceland. But they've been planting trees here. They've been very active in planting trees here. Yeah, it's getting a little bit wet here. Solon, I think they started planting trees here around the middle of the 20th century. I think 1950s, 1960s, something like that. So yeah, I wanted to talk about one thing that caught my eye from the news, that there was 10 Spanish travelers that were basically turned away they flew over to Iceland, and unfortunately their area when they traveled was red, considered red, like how many COVID cases they had. So when they booked, it was green, and when they eventually traveled, it was red. And there are new protocols that say that people who are traveling unnecessarily from red-coded countries are basically not allowed into the country. So they were turned away at the border. They needed to be flown back. I think it's a very harsh thing to do, especially because they were prepared to do like a quarantine for 5 days and everything. But this is just bizarre that they were just really stopped at the airport and then flown back to the next plane. I think this is too strict of a method of, you know, if people are prepared to do the quarantine and do the necessary steps, then why should that, you know, be a problem? US and UK don't have to worry about that. I think it's mostly countries that are not have been are slower in vaccinating and are. So if you're fully vaccinated and stuff like that. So these were, I forgot to remember. These were of course not fully vaccinated people. They just thought they didn't have COVID. So that was of course. And I do agree with you guys on YouTube that I love the Maori singing and chanting and dancing. It's on my bucket list to go to New Zealand. "14 days quarantine in Australia." Is that based on travelers or are just, that's that's to be on the safe side, to say the least. But actually 5 days is not very much if you think about it, because when I got COVID, I didn't feel a thing. I went into quarantine because a teacher of mine asked me to help him with some stuff, and I touched his monitor, like a audio system, and was just I didn't go near him, but I was obviously touching his audio system, and day after I got a phone call that I need to go into quarantine, and I went immediately, and just after, on the 6th day, I started to feel symptoms. I was supposed to be in a week in a quarantine. So it takes a little time for this to fully develop. Jim, is it always so quiet there in the park? There is a little bit of a road noise, maybe that you don't hear. You don't hear the traffic noise, but it's a blend of traffic and river noise. So, but yeah, it's pretty quiet here, especially when you're among the trees. Then they, of course, provide a nice shelter. Alexa, I'm not sure when me and Hilda will get our first jabs, but I will probably be on the last on the list because I already had COVID. But I think Hilda will probably be getting maybe in the next couple of weeks, like 2-3 weeks, because I saw news that they were jabbing people down to the year when they were born, 74, 73. But for example, we are not using AstraZeneca for women aged 55 and younger, so she won't be getting that. So if I would have to guess, 2-3 weeks, 3 weeks for Hilda, maybe a little bit longer for me, as maybe maybe I'll just check how strong my antibodies are after my COVID infection. So here they are developing this park that I was talking about, or this museum, or what have you. Oh, thank you, Laura, for asking. Laura is asking, there hasn't been much rain recently in Iceland or Reykjavik. How is that affecting ground fields and stuff? That's a good question, because there have been some brush fires in one of our reserves called Heiðmörk. So there's been some brush fires, and they had a little bit of difficulty containing it. But also, it happened yesterday that the volcano was causing brush fires around the volcano. So they closed it off yesterday, based on both gas pollution and brush fire possibilities. So yeah, it's causing a little bit of problems with. People are worried, of course, about our water reserve that's in Heiðmörk. It was the brush fire that was close there was causing a little bit of a difficulty or possible problems, but they contained it, fortunately. But yeah, it's getting. Yeah, we need a little rain now. Yeah, thank you, George. I think we have been doing reasonably well regarding COVID. Trying to be strict yet relaxed. We haven't had to go in strict quarantine or lockdown or anything like that. So, but it helps being an island, of course. Thank you for all your gifts of rain. We'll gladly take one day of that from you. Not more, thank you. At least not until the winter. Yeah, so guys, I'm gonna jump into my car, work a little bit. This was just supposed to be a 30-minute walk with you guys, but yeah, sometimes you just enjoy the oxygen and chatting with you. It's very strange to be here alone with the phone and a gimbal and just talking with myself, and yet feeling like I had a group of people with me on the walk. So I hope you enjoyed the little chat and seeing some of Elliðaárdalur, and maybe put it on the list of things to check out if you have time. It's people go far to look for a waterfall, but there's one just in the middle of the city that you can enjoy for a spell. And as you saw, maybe not a lot. it's not crowded, so when travel eventually begins, maybe that's one of the spots that you can just enjoy a romantic picnic or family time together. But yeah, I'll see you maybe in a couple of hours for Snorrastofa, chat about Snorri Sturluson. And so bless, have a good day.